New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert here with you behind the banner. There I am. Good evening. Welcome to the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. It's 5 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone, and that means it is time for a collection of the good news stories that I've found and remind me we really are creating a world that works for everyone. So grateful that you're with us. Feel free to chat along, chime along, drop your comments in the comment box as we go along here on New Thought Media Network on the good news here for this Friday night. All right, let's jump right into it. This is, I find, a really interesting story. A consortium of small firms is creating a renewable revolution within the boundaries of a Northern California city. Petaluma, which is home to about 60,000 people, is participating in a reusable cup project. Now, the idea is that they're going to give these renewable cups to 30 different restaurants in the area, including Starbucks, Taco Bell, and other outlets. They look all exactly alike, and the customers are being asked to either leave the cups on the table or drop them off in a bin that will be placed throughout the city. And there's going to have a whole network of drop-off bins for folks in Petaluma to drop off their cups. From there, they're going to be picked up, cleaned, and then sent back out to the restaurants again. No word in the article as to how long each cup might last, and we have to trust that people don't damage the cups in the return process. However, Petaluma does have a history of doing good for the environment, and the city is known that its residents are willing to embrace a change type idea. A 3-month trial is scheduled to start on October 5th and running into November. This will provide the company that's putting it all together, NextGen, with the data they need to understand if the program could be used in larger cities. Good luck, Petaluma. Let's hear it for them. I think this is a great idea. Let's figure out how we reduce, reuse, recycle. And this sounds like all three, if you ask me. So good news coming out of Petaluma. Hey, here's another story that I found that is recycling plastic. And I never thought about this. Maybe you hadn't either. All the life jackets on all the airplanes that we fly, well, they only have a lifespan of about 8 to 10 years, and then they have to be switched out. Now, for Boeing's the United fleet of Boeing 737 jet, that means about 19,000 jackets or life vests are being thrown away every year. Well, somebody got a great idea and realized maybe we shouldn't go this route. And so United Airlines has partnered with a company called B2L to upcycle the jackets into travel-themed collections of laptop bags for laundry, laptops, beachwear or beach bags, and backpacks as well. Currently, there's only got a couple of items available, and they're kind of overpriced, if you ask me. But if you've got it, go for it. It takes over. Estimates are that it could take several hundred years for life jackets to break down if just attempted to be buried or used or end up in the landfill. That's the big thing. Last year alone, they diverted 900 pounds of jackets from the landfills. And that's a great thing. Good work getting all that extra stuff out of the cycle, as it were. Hey, folks, we get a lot of our good news stories over at the goodnewsnetwork.org. That's goodnewsnetwork.org. We invite you to drop over there, give them some love and attention, and that they deserve. They do a great job of curating these stories, and we share a synopsis of them with you here on Friday night. It's one of the many places we get our stories from. You can also find more at sunnyskies.com. That's sunnyskies.com, where we find more of our stories. All right, let's get back into this. And I've got a couple of health-based stories for you. Now, I got to warn you, when it comes to the science stories, I sometimes get a little lost trying to keep up with all the names. So I make them a little bit easier, I hope, to follow. Our first story is all about sepsis, which is also known as blood poisoning. And the doctor you're looking at here has developed a new test that by squeezing white blood cells could determine if sepsis is present in the body in under 10 minutes. Current estimates are that it takes a couple of up to 2 days with other tests, as everything takes a lot of time to look for malformed white blood cells, which is the marker of sepsis. It is a notorious silent killer. That's according to Professor Michael Attar, the gentleman you're looking at here. He's a British-based scientist and lecturer at New York University, and has also been dubbed Mr. Sepsis by the medical community. He says rapid diagnosis and treatment is crucial to a good outcome, but there has never been a single reliable diagnostic test available to doctors, costing precious time and people's lives. He's developed the IntelliCept test, which detects microscopic deformities using an ultra high-speed camera that can capture over 500,000 frames per second. The images are then analyzed by AI. Knew there had to be some AI in here somewhere. The whole thing's been approved by the FDA, is already in hospitals in Louisiana, and is scheduled to be rolled out in 10 other states by the end of 2024. Everything goes well. This could be available nationwide before we even know it. Right on, Professor Attar. Thank you so much. Folks, the innovations, we don't know where they're going to come from, or how the new technologies and where we're expanding and growing, where it's going to open doors for us. And yes, the human interaction will always be there, because the human experience and the human imagination is what set these things off. Got another one for you too. This time, lupus. A team of scientists from Northwestern Medicine and Brigham and Women's Hospital have identified the cause of lupus. Lupus currently affects about roughly 1.5 million Americans and is a devastating autoimmune disease where the body's cells begin to attack itself. Now, scientists believe they found a cure, or at least a more sophisticated treatment, and are currently working on developing a pharmacological method of delivering the potential cure-like molecule. Up until this point, all therapy for lupus is a blunt instrument. It's broad immunosuppression. That's according to co-author Dr. Choi, an associate professor of dermatology at Northwestern University. By identifying a cause for this disease, we have found a potential cure that will not have the side effects of current therapies. His co-author, Dr. Deepak Roy, a rheumatologist at Brigham and Women's Hospital, explains the cure acts as an adjustment. We've identified a fundamental imbalance in the immune responses that patients with lupus make, and we've defined specific mediators that can correct this imbalance to dampen the pathological autoimmune response. If you have an extra 5 minutes, give that one a read. It's a great article. I love it, folks. We're finding the cures and the treatments and the things that make it easier to live longer. Good news, if you ask me. Hey, we need to take a quick break, let a couple of our sponsors and friends say hello. However, I've got a whole bunch of more good news stories coming up in the next segment, including, well, no, not yet, but we're getting there. Don't forget, we always have our hero of the week before we go tonight. Let's get into our commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Stay tuned. More coming on the good news right after this.
Time waits for no one. It's true. Regular registration for Celebrating Our Soul has closed. Fear not. Late registration is available. While there are limited seats, there is room for you if you register now. Go to padntg.com and register, and you will experience phenomenal live music, unique master classes, scrumptious food, and loving fellowship. Don't delay. Do it today. Go to padntg.com and join us at Celebrating Our Soul, consciously creating change. See you there.
You're invited to join us for the Convention of the Americas. Your light is my light. Come experience a bilingual international meeting of New Thought leaders on the beautiful shores of Lake Chapala, Jalisco, Mexico. With keynote speakers, Reverend Dr. Sonny Cantrell Smith, Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, and Reverend Dr. Kathy Ann Lewis. Join us August 6th through the 10th, Lake Chapala, Mexico. Learn more at conventionoftheamericas.com and register today. Your light is my light.
The New Thought Men's community proudly presents New Thought Men's Summit, Foundations, an online conference, September 22nd through 27th. Register today at www.newthoughtmens.community, featuring 22 New Thought speakers, ministers, and visionaries, sharing their wisdom of modern spiritual masculinity. New Thought Men's community, empowering wholeness, centered in spiritual living.
And we're back with more of the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. Thanks for being with us here tonight, folks. If you'd like to catch up with us at the New Thought Media Network live and in person, check out any of these conferences where we'll be attending or register for the Men's Summit where I will be presenting. All right, let's get back into it here this evening. I kind of slipped and gave you the heads up on this one. Botanists vote to remove apartheid slur from plant species names in Africa. Now, this may not sound like an awful lot, folks, but this is big and huge news. Over 200 plant species have their species names are going to be changed to remove an offensive South African apartheid era racial slur. And this is all after the results of a vote from the International Botanical Congress. Now, this doesn't often happen. It rarely ever happens. And the vote wasn't all that much of a majority, 351 to 205. What we're going to do is rename all current botanical species with the species name of Caffra, Caffraa, to Afra, Affra. Ms. Bossi, writing for the Smithsonian, explains that this means the coastal coral tree, the Ethrina caphra, will be called the Ethrina afra. And the decision marks the first time that taxonomists have voted in favor of changing offensive scientific names. Now, there's a lot that goes into this, and it really is a monumental step towards addressing racial equity, not only in South Africa, but across the world, and setting a precedent for the future. Sandy Knapp of the Nature History Museum in London, who managed the week-long session discussing all this, tells reporters that it is a very important step. I would have to agree. There's a move here in my adopted home state of Colorado to rename a number of mountains that have offensive names to the indigenous and Native American population, and that continues to go as well. So we'll keep an eye on this story and other stories like this for you, bring them to you here on Friday nights on the Good News. Hey, here's another one, and you know how much I love a good nature story. Here's another one. This time, the salmon are returning to rivers and streams in Devonshire, England. A dam has been removed that's allowed hundreds of salmon to begin swimming upriver again. It's the first time in 100 years that salmon have reached so far up the River Derwent, and it's actually been causing quite a stir amongst the locals. They come out at night with their headlights to look at the fish. As many of us, as we know, the salmon of all species can swim all the way back to their breeding grounds in order to lay their own eggs. We're starting to see a large salmon turning up in the Derwent in the winter. That's Dr. Tim Jacklin, a conservation officer for the Wild Trout Trust. They became sort of local celebrities, he says. It's very rewarding. We opened up a good 10 kilometers of spawning habitat upstream, so that translates into hundreds of more juvenile salmon that are making their way downstream and will eventually come back to spawn. We've reported on dam removals here in the U.S., and they're becoming more popular in other cities across Europe as well. Getting rid of the dams allows the fish to swim back upstream. Gotta love it. Good news, good news, good news. And hey, all right, twist my arm. One more good news wildlife story. This one, I want to introduce you to Chapo. Chapo is a Carpathian lynx. He was captured and was housed at a German zoo. However, it really didn't work out. He wouldn't settle down. They tried to transfer him to another zoo. During the course of that, he escaped. They kept looking for he kept looking for ways out of the enclosure and eventually kept finding them. Well, eventually wildlife authorities decided that Chapo would be better suited out in the wild than in a zoo. And according to experts, they've identified a way to do just that. 2 weeks ago, he was released into the wild. He stopped to sniff the wind and catch his bearings, and then disappeared into the forest. He joins 3 other lynx to be reintroduced this year. All of them were graduated from hunting rabbits to hunting foxes to hunting deer. And despite being the 3rd largest land predator in Europe, the lynx is seldom seen, and authorities say poses no threat to livestock. Recently, the Saxon government detailed that Nova and Luna were recorded as being only 100 meters or so apart, and it could not be ruled out that they met. I'm sorry, that's a leftover from another part, a more detailed part of the story with the other lynx that were released. All right, folks, I do need to take another break and let a couple more sponsors say hello and thank you before we come back. However, we have our human pieces, we have our human interest stories, including our best story of the week, our hero of the week. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring. And we're back with more of the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. It's Friday night. It's 5 o'clock, almost 5:30. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. All right, folks, let's get back into our files round of stories tonight. I want to introduce you to a pair of brothers, Dawson and his older brother, Dalton. Now, beginning around age 7, Dawson says he remembers that he thought he wouldn't get a chance to grow up with his brother because they were floundering in foster care. Adoption would be difficult because Dalton had cerebral palsy and epilepsy. He's also nonverbal and a quadriplegic. Now, several families had expressed interest in younger Dawson, and he was worried that finding a forever home for himself would lead to a separation from his brother. Thankfully, with the help of the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption and Florida parents Robin and Stephen, the boys are now together and thriving. When Dawson first arrived at his new Florida home, he was in 2nd grade, yet had a reading level of only kindergarten. With the love and security provided by him and his brother, the boy began to flourish. The light kicked on and the game was on, said Mom. He reached the honor roll for 4 straight semesters. Oh my gosh. Today, Robin gushes that she couldn't have asked for 2 better sons. Dawson is the person he is because he got the opportunity to keep his brother, and that's his heart. His brother's medical problems have also inspired Dawson to dream of becoming a doctor, wanting to take care of the people the way Dalton's doctors did for him. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for Dalton, he said. I just love being with him. Steve and Robin now have a handicapped accessible van and a new wheelchair for Dalton, and are currently working with local vendors to put in an accessible swimming pool for their sons. Dalton is the greatest gift I was ever given, said Robin in a YouTube video. He brings more joy, more love than any person I've ever met. Dalton, Dawson, and family, congratulations. I love hearing these heartwarming stories and reminding us that we are all in this together. We're all working together to support each other. And sometimes, well, that means we need a little bit of technology. How many people have heard of What 3 Words? What 3 Words is an app you can get on your phone. And in this case, Ed Farnsworth claims it was saving the life of his 59-year-old Aunt Sarah. The two were out hiking when Sarah fell off a steep embankment and fell 60 feet, suffering serious injuries. The two were in the woods, far from flat ground, and there were no landmarks for Ed to tell the emergency services where they were. Somehow he remembered that he had What 3 Words on the app on his phone, and what it does is it provides users with a unique 3-word code that reveals their precise location. If you want to check out the spot where this all happened and you have What 3 Words, you can go to crabmeat.hers.froze. Yup, they're kind of crazy. I've used it a little bit myself. The weather was great. We were having an amazing day, recalled younger Ed. I was leading the way in front of my aunt on the descent down the mountain when I turned and saw she was starting to lose her balance. She tumbled over the edge, and from then on, she didn't stop tumbling. She lost sight as I tried to make my way down to her, and I'd never dealt with anything like this before. Trying to remain calm, Ed panicked, called for help, but then did panic when he realized he had no idea where he was, and somehow was reminded of what my 3 words. My 3 words is being used. What 3 words? What 3 words is being used by first responders across the nation and across the world, in various parts of Europe and all across North America. You ever get lost? Think of what 3 words. Great way to find yourself. Let's keep going, folks. I've got another one here. This one comes to us all the way from North Carolina. And surprisingly, it is not our hero of the week. That'll be up next. But before we get there, I want to introduce you to the Monroe County Sheriff's Department. They received a call of a child that was wandering alone on a road on July 7th. Now, dispatching an officer to the Waxhaw Indian Trail Road, eventually the child was located and secured, but being autistic and nonverbal, the officer had no idea where the boy had wandered away from. Being that the officer was a K-9 unit and was working alongside his trusty 1-year-old bloodhound, Deputy B. Belk utilized the dog's incredible sense of smell to reverse the normal scent tracking process to find the boy's home. Officials say that normally scent dogs track from where a person left to find where the person is currently. This time they turned it all around. The scent article was given to Remy, who was successfully tracked backwards for approximately a half a mile, and where they were able to locate the child's home in a nearby neighborhood. When arriving, Deputy Belk found the garage door ajar and determined that the child left in a secretive manner and that no negligence of a criminal level had taken place. The parents were understandably grateful to see their son, and Belk offered a series of tips on how to prevent such things from happening again. Congratulations, officers. What a great work and great thinking bringing the kids home. All right, folks. You know, we do it once a week. It's that time for our hero of the week. A 6-year-old boy named Aiden is being praised for his quick action after his mother, Elizabeth Crooks, collapsed at home. Elizabeth, a 26-year-old mother of 3 from Belfast, England, became unwell due to a neurological condition known as FND, functional neurological disorder, and passed out. Aiden, showing remarkable composure for his age, immediately sought help. He approached a delivery man named Brian, who was dropping off a package at their home. The heartwarming moment was captured on Crook's doorbell camera, and that video has since gone viral. Elizabeth shared that Belfast Live shared that after seeing her son remain calm and polite during the emergency, she was moved. I was so heartwarming to see him handle the situation, she said. Thanks to Aiden's swift action and Brian's kindness, Elizabeth received the help she needed. She was later able to track down Brian to thank him personally for his assistance. His sister-in-law saw the video and thinks he is still in shock, the same as me, that it's gone viral. You can tell he's kind of a shy guy. This story is a touching reminder of the extraordinary capabilities of children in emergency services and situations and the kindness of strangers. It also highlights the importance of teaching children how to respond in emergencies, which can make all the difference in a critical situation. Please, folks, talk to your kids about how to handle an emergency situation. And Aiden's my son, Aiden, dear boy, you are our hero of the week. Thanks for being with us, folks, on the New Thought Media Network. I'm Reverend Robert. I'm going to get out of here for now. However, we invite you to come back with us again and again and again. We've got our evening prayers coming up at 8:15. And before that, Reverend Michael Mangus is here with the Fireside Chat at 6. Check that out as well. Tomorrow morning, bright and early, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, we'll have our Science of Mind and Spirit conversation series as well. Join us for that. Until next time, I want to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.